Joining us now is the Honorable James Clyburn, Congressman of South Carolina and the House Majority Whip. Congressman Clyburn, thank you very much for making time for us tonight. I really appreciate it. I know it's been a busy day. I was really struck by the emotion you brought to that endorsement today, wiping away tears a couple of times. And it sounded like an endorsement of two Clyburns. It sounded like Emily managed to deliver an endorsement through you today, too.
Well, thank you so much for having me. And you're right, she did. The fact of the matter is, Emily and I talked about this race before she passed away. We even talked about the fact that our relationship with Joe and our differences, even with our own grandson, who was working in another campaign. We told him to be comfortable in what he was doing, and we would support what he was doing, but in all probability, we'll be voting for a different person. And so I thought it was important for me to bring Emily into the conversation today, because you're correct. If she were here, she would have been standing with me, and she wouldn't have said a word, but you could tell from her look and the way she would embrace Joe what she was feeling. So this day was as much for her as it was and is for our children and our grandchildren.
Congressman, there's a new ad out in South Carolina put out by the Trump campaign and a Trump super PAC using audio of Barack Obama that they have stolen from the audio recording of his old book. And they're trying to use sound from that book as if it was directed as a negative comment about Joe Biden. Did you expect this kind of really crazy last-minute advertising against Joe Biden from Republicans in South Carolina?
Well, let me be clear. My father and mother were Republicans. My father believed in the party of Lincoln. He would not recognize this party today. The Republican Party has been taken over by folks who seem to have little integrity about the political process, seem to have little compassion for those who we call the least of these, seem not to have any regards for the truth. They seem to be willing to do anything to disparage an opponent. They seem to enjoy that more than winning a victory in the election. So no, I'm not surprised. What I am surprised at, though, is that so many of my Republican colleagues seem to accept that. When I think about the State of the Union address, with the President of the United States telling what the Washington Post said was at least 31 lies in the speech. And over half of them, my Republican colleagues were standing on their feet cheering, knowing full well it was not the truth. This country, as I said today, is at an inflection point. I would hope that we come to our senses, disagree, but we don't have to be disagreeable. Emily and I never would have made 58 years if we agreed on everything, but we would not have made 58 years if we were disagreeable every time we disagreed. And so I would hope that we can have a campaign appealing to the best that's in our people, appealing to the future of our children and grandchildren, and doing what is necessary to maintain the integrity of this great country. I have been saying this is a great country. It doesn't have to be made great again. What we've got to do is make this country's greatness accessible and affordable for all of its citizens. That's what I want this campaign to be about, and I don't think we can get there by misrepresenting and modifying people's positions and speech.
Congressman Clyburn, I know there's always a tremendous amount of pressure on your endorsement. There's the famous Bill Clinton calling you up in the middle of the night, livid at you for not endorsing Hillary Clinton in 2008. Barack Obama, of course, won South Carolina, crucial win for him on the way to the nomination. This time, what was the pressure like, and what was it like not having Emily to lean on during that pressure?
Well, the pressure was great, not because I was, unsure about what I wanted to do, but the pressure was great because I was there trying to keep my word to my party, my state party, that I would not do or say anything that would take away from the viability of our primary. And they told me they thought that if I got out real early in the contest, took sides, that maybe the other candidates would not come and would not do honor for our primary. That was pressure. That was pressure to stay quiet until after the debate, because we wanted to have a televised debate, and I promised the network that would not get out in front of them. But all of that went away when that lady beckoned to me and asked me to lean down and to whisper in her ear, because she wanted to hear from me. And she assured me that the people in that community wanted to hear from me. All of that went away because I thought on that moment about what Martin Luther King Jr. wrote in his letter from the Birmingham City Jail, when he wrote these words, that he was coming to the conclusion that the people of ill will in our society was making a much better use of time than the people of goodwill. And he thought that we were going to be made to repent, not just for the vitriolic words and deeds of bad people, but for the appalling silence of good people. So I thought about that and decided to break my silence.
Congressman James Clyburn, always an honor to have you join us. We really appreciate you making time for us tonight. Thank you.